Hi everyone. Today is our last prep lesson before we start learning the actual muscles and bones within the body. I want to talk about how muscle pairs are structured. So we talked 2 weeks ago about how we have a muscle belly, and that muscle belly is attached to bones by tendons. So tendons attach muscle to bone, and tendons cannot contract. They are only there to be connective tissue. So every muscle is going to have what we call an origin and an insertion. So if we see on the biceps here, okay, we have one attachment up near the upper arm and the shoulder, and we have one attachment down here to the lower part of the arm beyond the elbow. So one of those is the insertion, and one of those is the origin. The origin is going to be the attachment to the immovable or the less movable bone. So in this case, if you flex your bicep, you are moving the lower part of your arm, the radius and the ulna. So the origin in this case is up here in the shoulder, okay, the top of the humerus and on our scapula. The insertion is going to be the attachment to the movable side of the bone. So when you flex the bicep, the movable side, the insertion, is down here, and this is actually on your radius. So that is the top of your radius. The other bone on the other side is called the ulna. We'll get to that. So origin, less movable or immovable part. The insertion is the movable part. And when the muscle contracts, we know those Z lines are moving in towards the center of the sarcomere. And that is going to move the insertion point towards the origin. So if you picture this muscle contracting and getting smaller, it's going to then pull on the insertion side and move it up towards your origin, and that will move the lower end. So that is how you flex your arm up, okay, by contracting your bicep. And this structure will be the same with one origin and insertion, at least, in every muscle of the body. Okay, so when these muscles are made to move the skeletal system, they typically come in pairs. So anyone who does strength training on a regular basis, I'm sure you've heard, okay, make sure you work both muscles in the pair, and those are your agonist and your antagonist. So most body movements are the result of two or more muscles that are acting against each other or sometimes together. So in this case, okay, we still have the bicep here, but this diagram is also showing your tricep. So your bicep and your tricep are an agonist-antagonist pair. Okay, the prime mover or the agonist is the muscle that produces the movement, and the antagonist is going to produce the opposite movement. So when I contract my bicep and I move my radius ulna, my lower arm, up towards my shoulder, okay, and I flex my bicep, relaxing the bicep is not going to be what causes your arm to go down. Okay, contraction has to cause that movement. So to make your arm lower, you're going to contract the tricep, and if we contract the tricep in the back, it's going to pull the opposite direction on the insertion point. So the antagonist in this case would be the tricep, producing the opposite movement. So we have bicep tricep, that's an agonist and an antagonistic pair. They work opposite motions on the same bone.